Welcome to another tutorial on RetroMachine plugin for After Effects. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the post effects that RetroMachine has. So before we begin, I just want to let you know that each of these post effects can be used as standalone effects on any layer or composition. You don't have to use any of the algorithms that come with RetroMachine. All you have to do is make sure that none is selected in the algorithm section, and you can just toggle any of the effects on and it will work just fine. But for this video, I'm going to be using the power grade effect so that you can see the glow effect more clearly. So we will begin with the vibe glow. Let's enable it. And also something to keep in mind is that the GPU mode is currently experimental. It works mostly fine, but it's just something to keep in mind. So now let's talk about the voltage. Voltage is basically the energy that the core of the glow emits. So if I increase the voltage, you can see the core getting brighter. Radiance is basically the radius of the glow. So radiance decides how much the glow spreads. And in the advanced menu, you can find many other controls for the glow, like threshold curve, and fall off. By default, threshold is set to 50 so that the dark areas don't contribute to the glow as it should be. The threshold curve basically smooths out the threshold value. So if I increase it, you can see more of the pixels getting the glow in a smooth transition. Fall off is something that makes the glow energy spread out more from the core. So if you decrease it, it increases the spread. And intensity is something that just increases the overall brightness of the glow. Then next we have anamorphic stretch. So this gives you a stretched look for the glow, and you can also change the angle of the glow. And then next you have use add blend, which uses additive blend mode instead of screen for the glow. It makes the core look more bright. You can also choose a color for the glow. So let me set it to red, and the glow turns red. Pretty simple. You can also add noise to the glow. So if I turn it to 100, you can probably see it more clearly. And this uses blue noise instead of white noise, which gives you a more even look for the glow. And noise helps you get rid of the banding effect that usually comes with large radius glows. And finally, you have tone map and height source. To see the tone map effect, I'm going to set the glow to white again. And what tone mapping does is it compresses the HDR values of the glow to the traditional RGB values. So let's set it to ACES Filmic first, and you can see the bright values have been toned down into the RGB space. But ACES Filmic has a problem, and that is that it makes the colors desaturated a lot. So it's not ideal for motion graphics. This is the standard tone mapping used in cinema, but for motion graphics, I would suggest you use something like OpenTRT or the sigmoid tone maps. And then you can also hide the source of the glow. At last, you have fast glow preview. It is better to keep it on. It saves RAM for your GPU and also makes the glow more manageable in large comps or layers. And that's going to be it for vibe glow. Next, we have signal distortion. This is used to get a old school CRT TV distortion look. So tape flutter gives you that fluttering TV look. You can also adjust the band height with this. And then you have tracking amount and tracking frequency. This gives you a bigger distortion effect. So let's increase these to see the effect in action. And let's turn off the tape flutter. Then there's signal quality that just adds a little bit of noise. And to see it in action, you have to turn off the power grade, I think. So signal quality adds noise and a little bit of a TV glitch. Then you also have luma and chroma shifts. And then you have level crush, which can be used to color grade your video to look more old school. You can also add scan bars, which is basically a torque band that gives you a flickering effect. You can also set the speed. You can add a signal blur as well. This is a fast blur to make the video look low quality. And finally, you have interlacing, and that's going to be it for signal distortion as well. And then you have dot matrix, chromatic aberration, and CRT Scanlines, I'm going to be turning off the signal distortion. So dot matrix is a matrix of dots basically. So if I increase the dot size, you can see what it does. You can also increase the dot spacing, the shape of the dot, and much more. I'm not going to go in depth into this because this is pretty simple to understand. You just have to play around with these settings. And same with chromatic aberration. You know what it does. It also has a radial chromatic aberration setting if you want that kind of look. And finally, we have CRT Scanlines, which is also pretty self-explanatory. Let's increase the scanline spacing, see what it does. These are pretty simple ones. You can also set the mask type to aperture grills or shadow mask. Yeah, just decrease the spacing to see that it gives you that TV screen effect. And that's going to be it for this tutorial. These are pretty simple to understand. I'm not going to go more in detail. Unless you want me to, let me know in the comments. In the next video, we are going to be using the pre-processing or the adjustment tab. So stay tuned. I'll see you in the next video.